Hi there, in my last video I showed a way of making alpha images from 3D models using Blender, Krita and Pixplant 5. In this video I'm going to show a program I just found the other day called Relief Maker. It's quite a new program, it's only been out a few weeks. Funny story, I was just watching YouTube and it just came up in the algorithm somehow. I guess the sort of videos I watch probably just sent it to me, but it happens to be a program for making alphas or height maps from 3D objects, and it makes the whole process very easy. So I'm going to get the lion that I used before and we're going to put it into this program. So here's the model, and if I click on it, it's selected. So you can actually bring in more than one object in this program depending on the version you've got. And you just rotate the view to orient it. This purple square is your camera, so that's what anything that's in this view will be turned into a relief image. There's also another mode, so if you press observer you can then look at it so it's not in the camera. So that's mainly for if you've got more than one object and you want to position objects around each other in some ways. It's probably best to watch their videos on their YouTube channel for in-depth instructions on all of these. I'm just going to use this on the default settings as it is. The only thing I'm going to change is the output width. So just to match the other one that I made. And then I'm going to just middle mouse button, I can move the lion. Left is rotate. If I press Alt and left I can zoom in and out. Mouse wheel is scale. There's actually a list of the keyboard shortcuts here, so that's quite helpful. It seems to be very easy to use. It's designed for people who don't necessarily want to learn lots of complicated 3D software to do this. It just does this one thing, but it does it very well. So I'll just make a Bas Relief using this software and then I'll compare it against the results I had from the other videos. With the right mouse button I can change the lighting, which doesn't really alter the result of the bas relief, but it's just for like a visual indication of what your model might look like. So I'm just going to leave everything at the default values and hit the generate relief button. And then we've got a bas relief. If I rotate, I can see how deep it is. There are other options. I probably only use this option myself, but you might want to look into what these other options do, depending on your needs for it. There's a bevel effect you can apply as well, which might be nice. I'll just put it to medium and show you what it does. So that just literally puts a little bit of a bevel around the edge. I think I'm just going to set it back to none. So then when you want to export your relief, you just go to File, Export Relief. I did actually export some objects earlier, but I'll just do it again so I can show you. Call it B. I'm just going to save out the 16-bit height map because that's what I'll be using in ZBrush. And I'm just going to leave the settings as they are. For the 3D objects, if you wanted 3D objects, it makes them for you in this program as well. You just export relief and then you select either object or STL file, and you can have 3 different types of object. There's a dense geometry version, there's a decimated version, and there's a version that's sort of clipped around the edge. It takes all the boundary geometry away and just leaves you with the main detail. It's easier if I just show you in Blender. So you just hit, and then you select which one you want. So let's say I want decimated background because that's quite common. There's other programs that would probably support that, like for CNC or 3D printing. The dense height field is intended for if you want to sculpt, say you've got this background and you want to sculpt details around the object, not just on the detail, you would pick the dense height field. And if you only want the lion and nothing else around it, you'd pick foreground only. So now I've got that. If I show you in Blender, you have to get rid of the cube. The objects from Relief Maker will look huge when I import them, so I'll have to scale them down. That's the one I just saved. So as you can see, it's a bit too big. So if I press S and then full stop on the numpad to focus in on it, I'm just scaling it. I'm going to press 0, that's my camera view. Keep scaling it. Then I'm going to hit 1 on the numpad to go to front view and full stop on the numpad to zoom in. I'm going to set the rotation and scale. And then I'm going to go into edit mode by pressing tab, and the decimated model is just dense around where the details are, and then there's just triangles around the outside. You can see there's like a mold on the back sort of thing. If I show you the other types, the ones I saved earlier, this one will be the dense one. It's going to take a while to import into my Blender because it's a bit more memory intensive. So here it is. I'm assuming the objects are so big because maybe different software have different scale requirements, or plus it is quite a detailed mesh, although scale doesn't really matter because it's not going to get rid of the details by scaling it. So if I move that to the right, I'm going into edit mode, and it's going to take a while because it's going to load all the geometry, and this is the dense mesh, so everything is just really dense. So that would be for someone who wants to sculpt all over this. That would be ready for you to go with that. Probably the decimated version would be better for someone using it for 3D printing or CNC. And then the other type of exported object is the one that's cut out. So this one doesn't have the polygons around the edges of it. So that makes it very easy if you need objects from your alphas as well. You don't have to use another software to make them, and they're very high quality. So now I've shown you that, I'll show you all the different results in ZBrush, and we'll see which is the one that looks the nicest. So here I am in ZBrush. I'm going to make a plane object, go to edit, make polymesh 3D, turn off subdivide smooth modifier, divide this up about 6 times, should be fine. Then I'm going to load in my alphas. So this is the one from Relief Maker. So if you just do it with the default settings, you're going to get a sort of hazy thing around. So we need to take the focal shift down, and I could put the intensity up a bit. And then I'll import the alpha that I made using Blender. So that was this one. And then I need one from ZBrush. So I'll have to import the lion again. Put him somewhere in the view, just orient him how I want the alpha to be. Go to alpha, Bas Relief, make Bas Relief. Then I'll go back to my plane and drag out. So to compare, the one on the top left is the one from Relief Maker, and it's got very nice edges. The details are all very There's no harshness, there's no loss of detail really. It's going to look a bit jagged because that's just the nature of this model. Was a bit rough. It was quite a decimated model. But we can smooth that out. So this one on the top right was the one I made in Blender and Krita and Pixplant. It's not bad. I mean, I'd say it's still better than the one generated in ZBrush, and there are things I could have done to make the details stronger by adjusting levels and things like that. But it's not quite as nice as the one from Relief Maker. Not at all. The details around the edge are a bit rougher. But it's perfectly fine. And then the one done with ZBrush is it's a nice sort of geometric style. We've got lots of, it's a bit harsher, it's added more angular lines where there weren't angular lines really. So here where the leg is, that should be round, and it's got this sort of weird rectangular thing going on. So if I wanted to just smooth out the details a bit, I could just, maybe not that one, just do the polish. We want to be a bit more subtle, maybe, actually it 2 really smooths it out. I mean, it's not really an issue, but it depends on what you want. So if you wanted it smoother, that's what you could do. Or you could smooth it manually with the smooth brush. I actually quite like it just as it is. I think the details pop out nicely. So that's the comparison of the different ways of making alphas from a 3D object. If I find out any more ways of doing it, I will let you know. Thanks a lot for watching these videos. All the best.